What's up YouTube, it's your old school expert, and today we are going through Legacy of Darkness. We got the first edition Legacy of Darkness complete set. So for me, this is, it's probably, I don't know, maybe my fifth favorite set in classic Yu-Gi-Oh! And when it comes to like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Back then in 2003, July I believe is when the set came out. This set completely changed the game. I know you could say that about most sets, but this set introduced so much strategy and so many cards that were either just overpowered or game changers. So a lot of people started, I don't know, weaning off of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it became less popular during this time. And I would say the set after this, Pharaonic Guardian, really brought that on, but we'll talk about that later. But for now, let's talk about Legacy Darkness. So Yata Garasu, you guys all know the Yata lock. That is one of the most famous things in all of Yu-Gi-Oh!, let alone classic Yu-Gi-Oh! So for anyone who's not familiar with that, when this attacks your opponent and inflicts battle damage, your opponent cannot draw their following draw phase. So it's a great way to lock your opponent down. And it was quickly banned when the ban list finally started actually banning cards. But for a while there, nothing was ever forbidden. It was only limited or semi-limited. So some other great cards in here include Dark Ruler Hades was pretty good, but you couldn't special summon it from the graveyard, so that made it kind of limited. It saw some play in competition, especially because at this time there were so many good effect monsters, and especially flip effect monsters that wouldn't get their flip effect if they were destroyed by Dark Ruler. Dark Balter didn't see a lot of play until later on when like Metamorphosis and Magical Scientists were released. So at the release of this set, it wasn't too popular. Freed, again, it didn't see a whole lot of play, kind of like situational warrior deck type of thing. Marauding Captain did see some play. It's still actually a pretty good card today, because when you normal summon it, you can special summon a level, I think it's a level 4 or lower monster from your hand as well. So it's actually a pretty good effect. And then Exiled Force was pretty much a staple, at least in this format. And for the next 4 to 6 months after the release of Legacy of Darkness, Exiled Force was a staple in pretty much all beatdown decks, because it was a great way to clear out a face-down monster, especially if it was like a Magician of Faith or a Fiber Jar or Cyber Jar or something like that. You just summon Exiled Force, or if it's like a Jinzo, and you pop it. So it was a great card. It did take up your normal summon, but it was a great card. And you could special summon it, Premature Call the Haunted, whatever. Get 2 of them off in one turn. Reinforcement of the Army, that card still even today is a very useful card. And I want to say it's either limited or semi-limited. I think it's limited to 1. Let's see, Tyrant Dragon, not all that useful, but such a cool card. This is probably I would say this might be my second favorite card in the entire set. My favorite is Injection Fairy Lily. And then Spear Dragon was a staple, definitely. This card was huge because Gemini Elf had just come out in the previous set, so 1900 attack beat stick monsters were becoming the thing, and then Spear Dragon was both, it had a plus and a minus. On the plus side, it had piercing ability, so that was really useful when you were attacking defense position monsters. The downside was that it was kind of like Goblin Attack Force, had to go to defense position, but it was only for the turn. So as soon as your turn, when you had your turn again, you didn't have to leave him in defense position. You could put him back in attack, unlike Goblin Attack Force, which had to stay another turn in defense position. A lot of dragon stuff in this set. This set has a ton of dragons and warriors. Those are the 2 main things. Fiends as well. But I would say dragons and warriors were the 2 main types that you saw in Legacy of Darkness. This set just released so much strategy into the game, and decks became, I don't know, less like just summon and beat, and more strategy like set this, play mind games, do stuff like that. Air Knight and Fiber Jar, both very, very powerful and useful cards for a long time. Fiber Jar made the ban list probably, in the 2nd or 3rd ban list. It was banned pretty quickly once they started banning cards, and I don't think it ever came off. It's just such an insane card. It resets the game besides life points. It's essentially what it does. And then Air Knight was a really good card. and used all the way through GOAT format as a powerful way to draw and then to get through scapegoats, to just pierce right through them. Following the dragon theme, see Yata Dragon. It's a pretty cool card, but being a spirit monster, it made it not so great. It was a lot of work to get it out, and then it would have to go back to your hand. Same with Hinokaga Sushi, but they had good effects. It was just that they were spirit monsters, so that kind of was a downfall. Asura Priests, you see this a lot in GOAT format because it can attack all your opponent's scapegoats and just wipe them out completely. It's a pretty good card. But at the release of this set, scapegoat wasn't really a thing. I don't even know if it was released yet. And if it was, it wasn't a super popular card. So Smoke Grenade the Thief, that's actually a card that people are using in today's game. Fushi no Tori, that is a short print. Let's see, I'm trying to think if anything else here is a short print. I don't know the short prints too well in Legacy of Darkness. I should know them, but I just don't. Creature Swap's another outstanding card. It's like a permanent change of heart, but you swap a monster with your opponent, so you could give them a weak monster. I remember using Scapegoat, actually. I keep bringing that card up, but using Scapegoat and then Creature Swap one of your goat tokens to your opponent and take one of their monsters, especially when they had like a Jinzo or some kind of a powerful monster. It was a great feeling to do that. And the swap is permanent, so that's really cool. After Genocide, that's a card that they actually changed later on and called it After the Struggle. I guess Genocide was just too powerful of a word because, they have to censor everything. So After the Struggle is what you'll see in reprints, but in the originals it says After Genocide. Bottomless Trap Hole, that's a card that wasn't really used too much when this set was released. It was used a little bit. I remember seeing it. I think I might have used it too. But this card saw a lot of play later on, especially between like 2006 and 2008. This card was really, maybe 2009, this card was really good. It was very useful because it removed the opponent's monster from play and it included special summons. It was a very good card. Royal Oppression, this card wasn't used too much back in that day because special summoning wasn't as big of a deal. Special summons were rare, and you and your opponent can use this card when it's face up on the field to pay 800 life points and negate your opponent's special summon. But so that made it a very good card. But again, no one was really special summoning back then, not a whole lot anyways. So this card was very situational. Later on, it became insanely good, and they had to ban it because the game had progressed to where special summoning was commonplace. And can you imagine having this card in today's game? It would be a total floodgate. It would just stop the entire game. And then finally, we have Last Turn, which is the cover card. Kind of strange that the cover card is all the way at the end of the set. And then Injection, which is my favorite card in the whole set. I love the artwork, and I just loved having a card that you could pay 2,000 life points, which was pretty hefty, but you could pay 2,000 life points and then have her boost her attack by 3,000. So she goes up to 3,400, which could take out Blue Eyes or other powerful monsters. So that was a very good card, and it was a staple for quite a while, at least a year and a half. This was found in pretty much any beatdown deck. So that's Legacy of Darkness, guys. It is a great set. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's still a set I like to open packs of because it's very nostalgic to me. And in my opinion, overall, just 100%, this set probably has the best artwork of any of the classic Yu-Gi-Oh sets, especially when it comes to the ultra rares. The colors just pop so much. I mean, there's so much color in these ultras, and the artwork is very detailed. So I think they did a great job with the monsters from Legacy of Darkness, and it was a great set. It was a fantastic set. It boosted a lot of decks, and it added a lot of versatility to the game at the time. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you guys are enjoying these trips down memory lane as everybody's still pretty much locked down, or restrictions are becoming eased in some states. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh videos.